Okay, tell me if this sounds familiar. You're browsing for like the perfect gifts, for like a niece or nephew,
Hmm.
and it like hits you. How did everything become about slime and superheroes or like singing rainbow unicorns?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, those have their place, but what about something with a little more, heart?
It's a sentiment so many parents grapple with, right? Especially as the holidays approach, that desire for content that reflects a different set of values, a different
Yeah.
kind of message. And that's precisely where a company like Good Shepherd enters the scene.
Right, and they've really burst onto the scene this year,
Yeah.
all about crafting this world of faith-based content specifically designed for kids. We're talking those formative years, ages 2 to 13.
What's fascinating here is they're not just dipping their toes into the market, they're diving in headfirst with a multi-pronged approach of books, classes, you name it.
Yeah.
They're offering an entire ecosystem, and it's all rooted in Christian values.
And you know me, always curious about the strategy. So they're targeting parents who are actively seeking alternatives to the mainstream, those who maybe feel like a certain something is missing from the current media landscape.
Absolutely. Think of it as tapping into a longing for content that aligns with a family's beliefs, their values. It's not just about entertainment, it's about reinforcement, about sharing stories that resonate on a deeper level.
And Good Shepherd isn't just churning out generic be good messages.
Yeah.
They've got a whole lineup of books with titles like Little Hearts, Big Faith, and The Adventures of Sarah Bunny. They even have Oliver's Christmas Courage. Just try resisting that one during the holidays.
And you see how strategically crafted those titles are. Each one is carefully chosen to tap into those universal themes of love, faith, and courage values that resonate deeply with parents seeking to instill those same principles in their children.
It's like they're packaging those essential life lessons within stories that capture a child's imagination, wouldn't you say?
Precisely. And when you dig a little deeper into the book descriptions, you find this emphasis on daily inspiration. Heartwarming narratives. For example, Oliver's Christmas Courage even comes with a Christmas journal, creating an interactive experience that extends beyond the page. They're really savvy about creating that holistic experience.
Speaking of savvy, I have to ask about Oliver's Christmas Courage. The title alone screams holiday bestseller. Are they aiming for a spot on those coveted Christmas gift lists?
Oh, absolutely. It's strategic brilliance, really. They're tapping into the emotional heartstrings of the season, a heartwarming story about courage, an angel appearing on Christmas morning. It's all carefully curated to align with the spirit of giving and togetherness that defines the holidays.
That's so smart. But here's what I find really intriguing. They're not just relying on the holiday rush, they're thinking long term. With this at-home learning program, Canvas for Kids, set to launch next summer.
What's the inside scoop on this one? Canvas for Kids is fascinating because it caters to this rising demand for at-home learning options. They're both creative and values-driven. We've seen a surge in these programs, but Good Shepherd is taking a unique approach by intentionally weaving in faith-based teachings.
Okay, so paint me a picture. What does a typical Canvas for Kids session look like for families?
Imagine this. It's a weekly Zoom session, minimal setup required for busy parents, and each week focuses on a different theme. But here's the twist. They're not just teaching kids how to, say, paint a landscape. They're incorporating lessons about kindness, gratitude, and generosity. It's like they're subtly connecting artistic expression to spiritual growth.
It's a really interesting approach, especially in a world where kids are often bombarded with messages that feel at odds with what many parents are trying to teach at home.
Precisely. And this approach, blending creativity with faith, could be particularly effective for certain learning styles. Think about a child who thrives in environments that foster self-expression and imagination. This program provides an outlet for that while simultaneously nurturing their spiritual development. It's a win-win.
It really highlights their commitment to offering a multifaceted approach. They're not just selling books, they're offering a gateway to a community and experience. It's quite clever.
And that's a crucial point. Good Shepherd understands that parents are yearning for more than just products. They're seeking a sense of connection, a shared set of values, by creating this ecosystem, this world of Good Shepherd, that they're tapping into that desire.
Which brings us to the big question. What's the potential impact of all of this? If kids are immersed in this Good Shepherd world, how might it influence their development, their understanding of themselves and the world around them?
Yeah, it really makes you think about that, huh? If a child grows up immersed in this world of Good Shepherd with this emphasis on faith and values, how might that shape their worldview, their moral compass? It's a question with layers, right? And it speaks to a broader conversation about the role of values in a child's development. Imagine these stories, these characters becoming almost like companions on a child's journey of self-discovery. They encounter challenges, they learn lessons, and these experiences, even if fictionalized, can contribute to their understanding of right and wrong, empathy, compassion.
Almost like planting seeds of character, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
And while a child's environment, their family plays a huge role, the content they consume adds another layer of influence.
Precisely, think of it less as indoctrination and more like providing a framework, a lens through which they can view the world. It's not about dictating beliefs, but rather offering a set of values that can guide their choices and interactions as they navigate the complexities of life.
Right, just like saying, here's a compass, now you explore, you discover your own path. It doesn't negate the role of critical thinking. In fact, it invites it.
Exactly, and this is where the role of parents and educators becomes so crucial. They become facilitators, encouraging dialogue, prompting children to think critically about the messages they encounter, not just in Good Shepherd materials, but in all aspects of their lives.
Yeah, because let's be real, shielding kids from all external influences is practically impossible in our hyper-connected world.
That's the reality. It's less about building walls and more about equipping them with the tools to discern, to evaluate, and to ultimately form their own opinions based on informed perspectives.
And that's what I think makes Good Shepherd's approach so intriguing. They're not shying away from those bigger conversations about faith
Yeah.
values.
They're creating a space for them, and that in itself is noteworthy.
It really is. What I find most compelling is their long game strategy. They're not just selling individual products, they're cultivating a community, a shared experience. The success of this model hinges on their ability to connect with parents who are yearning for that very thing,
Mm.
a sense of belonging, of shared values, in a world that often feels increasingly fragmented. Yeah, it's like they're building a bridge between faith and modern life, recognizing that parents today are looking for ways to instill those time-tested values in a way that resonates with your kids.
Absolutely, and that makes their journey something worth watching. How will this approach evolve as these children grow? How will Good Shepherd adapt to meet the changing needs of their audience? These are the questions that will define their legacy.
And for anyone listening who's ever felt that pang of, is there something more out there?
Yeah.
When it comes to content for kids, Good Shepherd's story is one to watch. It's a reminder that in a world saturated with choices, there's always room for innovation, for intentionality, and for content that reflects the values we hold dear.